reasonable evidence that the Earth is flat. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, I went through a manic episode. I spent around 72 hours researching bridges. Wasn't sure why, but I had some vision. I was like, yeah, there's something with the bridges. So I looked at these bridges, all right, dude. I was looking at blueprints, back to back to back to back to back. Came to the conclusion that the Danyang Shang Bridge in China is 102 miles long. But you're probably waiting for the cliffhanger here, dude. The
They don't
problem is,
account for any curvature or something like that.
damn right, dude. And I was looking at the
Wait, did you
bridges. I
say
was
the
like,
bridge is 100 miles long?
102 miles long, yeah. And
What's the name of it?
it's the the Grand Yang Zhang Bridge in China. It's 102 miles long. Now the problem is that if you take into consideration a 102 mile stretch, we're looking at around 2 degrees of curvature. There isn't, and it isn't in the equations. It's not in the blueprinting.
So
What the
this
fuck's going
isn't
on,
a
right?
suspension bridge. It's a bridge because it's 102 miles long. It's on multiple pillars. The bridge it's elevated above the ground, so I guess technically it's a bridge. But there would be no reason for it to account for curvature. That's like saying railroads don't account for curvature. No, they don't need to. They follow the curvature of the earth just by being built on the earth. What is it that you think the bridge would need to account for curvature for? And while you're
Yeah,
thinking of that, well, go ahead.
sure. So 2 degrees of curvature we're supposed to see. In the blueprint I was looking at, it was less than a degree. It was like far less than a degree. I think it was like point 0.2 of a degree of curvature, which doesn't add up with with the Earth being a globe, considering it's every single, I don't know, 50 or 60 miles we account for 1 degree of curvature. So I will be looking for seeing consistent curvature with the globe, or a globe Earth would show. And I was also
Again,
really drunk
the
this time,
bridge,
so
if the bridge is just going across the surface of the earth, it wouldn't account for curvature. It would simply follow the curvature of the earth, just like a highway does or a railroad. Like they don't pre-bend railroad. What are those called? The rails, I guess, because it's a railroad. They don't pre-bend the rails to account for the curvature of the earth. They make them perfectly straight because at scales of the interval of the length of the rails, or for the bridge, at the scale of the length of the individual intervals for the units of that bridge, you absolutely don't
yeah.
need to account for anything.
No, I mean that's fair. I mean, like I said, to be fair, when I was in this, I was in some sort of drunk psychosis. There's a lot of liquor involved, so it made a lot more sense to me at the time when I was looking at it. So yeah, I guess that being said, I will concede that point and like to move on to let's see.
Oh boy.
No, um, let's see. Okay, let's move on to the Big Bang is true. We have no reasonable evidence to suggest this is true, man.
That's interesting. So, you've heard of all the evidence that the scientists claim that there is, and then you dove deep into all those claims and then figured out why all of them are false. So, could you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. So the issue that we're looking at, okay, I'll just a minute here. She's actually, sorry, just a minute here. Oh, my camera turned on. Sorry about that. So the issue we're having would be that the Big Bang Theory, okay? The problem is, oh, she's, I don't know why I even did that. That wasn't my fault. Sorry. What were we saying? Yeah. So it doesn't account for the singularity, okay? So the singularity, if it exists, all space-time, matter, everything breaks down. If this is the case, then wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah. If
No
this is the
idea.
case, if this is the case, that means that time has a beginning, my friend.
Uh,
Count.
time.
It goes right. Yeah, your argument is self-refuting, buddy.
No, time is a dimension of the universe. So it's a dimension of, we call it space time, right? So if time has a beginning, that just means that the four-dimensional space time we live in has a beginning, but that doesn't mean that's the beginning of the universe.
Wait, no, it's not true, because the problem is that you are now introducing the fourth dimension as argumentation for why this is the case. Just a minute, hold on 1 second.
Mark Sanchez was stabbed. That's crazy.
Yeah, I probably can. Let me go right now.
No, you don't have to do it right now. Just
yeah, I'll go here in a minute. Yeah, sounds good. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so, all right, what were we saying here? What were we saying?
Something about time beginning.
Yeah, so the argument is you have to bring into the equation the fourth dimension. The problem is that your worldview says that time is eternal. And it can't be due to the Big Bang.
It doesn't have to be.
It has to be. Your worldview could necessarily consist of that.
No, it doesn't have to be. It can be cyclical. Plus, whatever happens before the Big Bang isn't part of the Big Bang. It can be a completely different scientific explanation. Like, evolution doesn't explain the origin of life. Of course not. Some other idea explains the origin of life. Evolution explains what happens post-life. Big Bang explains what happens post, not even like the first moments of like time in the universe, because at like absurdly tiny time scales, inflation can precede the actual Big Bang or whatever. But that's all still, those are events occurring in the universe.
Okay, so when you said it could be cyclical, wouldn't cyclical just be another form of infinite?
It could be.
Oh, just a minute. Let me buckle up here. I'm only going 500 feet. Just give me a second.
God, no, I'm not risking. In addition to autographed copies of both my books and, of course, Spanky, I'm excited to announce that I now have stickers, tumblers, apparel, and more on my store. Take Spanky, the God-defeating penguin, and can you put that into a logical syllogism, with you wherever you go now. Okay.
I do study physics, so I do know the Earth is not flat and it's billions of years old, and evolution is true, and the Big Bang is true, and there's no evidence of God, because religion is based on faith, not evidence. You know, that's kind of the whole deal about it.
What draws you toward the MAGA movement?
I mean, honestly, I am pretty conservative, and I don't like using the well, the other side is worse, but I don't like Democrats, so I suppose I'm MAGA. You know, they call me MAGA at least. I'm Republican. Is that fair?
I mean, kinda. I don't 100% know what you mean. I mean, people on the left will call you a right-winger, even if you agree with 99.999% of what they say, but they really don't like the one thing you disagree with, then, I mean, some people are like that, I guess. So
Hold on, aren't you
I guess
on
I
the
would
left?
still ask the same question. What draws you toward MAGA?
I'm sorry, there seems to be a misunderstanding. Like, aren't you on the left?
Yeah.
Oh, but so you okay? Never mind. That was a critique of your own side, then, was it?
Yeah, I do that fairly often.
Oh, that's I finally someone who okay. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not like unapologetically MAGA. I don't agree with all of the things Trump is doing. Like, for example, I am 100% in favor of him releasing those damn files. You know, if he isn't on them, why wouldn't he release them? You know.
No, I mean, yeah, you're 100% right on that.
And I mean, you know, it's evident the files contain something counterproductive for both sides, because during both presidencies, the Trump and the Biden one, neither of them released them. So I think
Yes, I know.
there definitely is a lot of shit in those. And sorry, forgive the language.
You can say shit. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, there's a lot of shit in there, and definitely it hurts all of the
Right.
quote
Okay.
unquote
So
swamp.
Andrea,
Yeah.
is that's right?
You can call me Andrew if that's easier. I don't mind.
All right.
Hmm.
So before we had an election, what were the
Hmm.
problems in the country you saw that you thought the MAGA movement was going to be able to deal with?
Oh, okay. Well, for example, diplomatic representation in the world. We were kind of a laughing stock, and I hoped Trump would solve it. And in some ways he did,
You
some
th-
ways he didn't.
I think I don't know what you mean by that in the first place. If you're talking about Russia's continued aggressions against Ukraine and that wasn't really going anywhere, and that's what made. Are you talking about that and the withdraw from Afghanistan, or like why do you think that we had that status?
Well, number one, yeah, totally. The withdrawal of Afghanistan from Afghanistan really started it off really badly for Biden. But I would say that Biden himself, as a leader, wasn't reassuring enough for the market and our allies.
For the markets and our allies. Do you think people around the world like Donald Trump like at all?
Oh no.
Okay. I agree that Biden had some like there was some PR stuff with relation to Biden, and sometimes it was a little bit embarrassing. But we're just Trump is just actively making enemies with almost everybody, and then he's making friends with people that are almost universally condemned around the world.
Well, let me give you an example, okay? He doesn't make himself be liked by our allies, right? But for example, with Europe, he threatened them with tariffs, and then he said, "Well, if you don't want the tariffs, I can get them a little lower if you invest 140 billion dollars in our military sector, and then also if you buy energy and stuff from us." So he threatens his allies, and then they get scared of him, and they just obey because that's what von der Leyen just did.
I'm not sure 100% exactly what you're talking about. The one thing he's done, there's like, I don't know, maybe two or three things he's ever done that I support. Him pressuring European countries to spend more of their GDP on NATO, I think is a good thing because they really weren't contributing
Hmm.
nearly as much as a percentage, even as we obviously we're going to commit the most because we're the wealthiest. But yeah, that
Hmm.
was like the
Yeah.
one thing he put pressure on them for that. But
Hmm.
I haven't heard of any specific tariff deals that got all of the tariff deals that are meant to lead to reinvestment in America are with Asian countries. I haven't heard of any with European countries. If you know of
Hold on,
any, then
I will quote it for you. Hold on, let me turn on my PC. Give me a second, because I have family in Europe. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately, depends on your definition. Give me a second. So, deal USA EU military. hmm Yeah, so 21st of August. Um, so this is from the 28th of July of 2025. The agreement includes the obligation for Europeans to buy 750 billion of American energy and invest another 600 billion. Hold on, this is just the is 600 billion, as well as the supply of significant quantities of weapons. This is already 750 billions just in energy reaching us. And I'm quoting the
um,
Italian.
again, I've never heard that. I mean, I haven't heard that. I can take your word for it on that particular one. I mean, that's whatever. The weapons thing, I don't really think that really that's not really beneficial to hardly anybody except mega rich people,
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, but the thing is, it's
which is kind
beneficial for
of
the.
the only thing that he does.
Oh,
Did
I
you hear
mean,
about his
every
$20 billion bailout for Argentina?
yeah, I did. I mean,
Yeah,
Argentina is
that's
kind of
horrible.
their, it's kind of his number one ally in Southern America, though. So you got to see it from his perspective, you
From
know,
whose perspective?
Trump's and his administrations. Milei
Why?
is a really,
What that doesn't excuse it at all. So Donald Trump imposes these tariffs on China, and then China
yeah,
says, "Okay, we're not going to buy any soybeans from the United States," which is really
yeah.
devastating because they buy somewhere. I know in some states they buy half the soybeans. I don't know what it is overall. So, and then in Argentina, they have this anarcho capitalist, chainsaw wielding psychopath, and he's destroying their economy. So, somebody who is personal friends with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, he's taken a bunch of investments in Bolsonaro, along with, I think Musk also does, and several other of these hedge fund ghouls. So they're losing
Hmm.
money because they invested in a foreign country, uh, which is bad for these ultra rich people who have generational wealth. I would say, fuck yourself. Farmers don't have any generational wealth. But Trump said, no, 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 no. Fuck the farmers and let me give money. He's basically bailing out his hedge fund bros. So he gives $20 billion to Argentina to keep their economy in float. And meanwhile, this whole time, this also ends up basically being a subsidy for Argentina to China because guess now where China is buying soybeans from? Countries like Argentina.
No, yeah,
So
totally. I mean,
giving $20
it's
billion
fun.
dollars to Argentina, which in turn just goes back into the stock portfolios for hedge fund people who are best friends with people that he's put in his cabinet positions or whatever. I don't know if Secretary of the Treasury is a cabinet position or whatever, but like it's just corrupt through and through on every account. $20 billion dollars to my friends and a foreign country while farmers are suffering and going bankrupt because of the policies I enacted.
No, yeah, I mean, totally. I again, as I said, I'm not unapologetically pro-Trump, but what I'm saying is, it makes sense from his perspective. This kind of investment in Argentina, in his greatest ally in Southern America.
What do you mean by if I look at it from his perspective? If I look at it from the perspective of the person who's being corrupt, then yeah, it benefits the guy being corrupt. Why would I endorse that position for somebody that's the executive of this country? That makes zero sense.
What I'm saying is, it makes sense from his administration's point of view. Apart from that whole corruption deal, which is true, I'm saying that investing in the
The
Southern
president
American
is not
countries like
supposed to act in
Argentina.
his own selfish best interest.
No, this isn't about him acting in his own best interests. It's
How
in
is
his
him
own
bailing out his
administration.
friends, not him acting in his own selfish self interest while he's
Because
actively harming farmers?
because when you look at Argentina, Argentina is the only country in Southern America that is going to um oh, hold on, someone's being fucking racist in your role against me, whatever. Argentina is going to be
What?
uh
Who
sorry?
said something racist?
Someone said I sound foreign.
You do.
Uh, I mean, I do, yeah, because I have two different speech impediments, and and I have also parents that are foreign, so that is a bit of a problem, yes.
Well, it's not a
So,
problem. It's just true. It's
well,
like
it's
that.
true,
It's like
yeah.
that episode of The Office where Michael goes, "You're just saying that because you think he's black. He is black."
No, 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 but no, but I'm saying it's a problem. The fact that I have a speech impediment,
Uh,
that is a problem.
uh,
Yeah, no, but
Whatever.
Argentina is our greatest ally in Southern America, so it makes sense from our position to provide them with money to prevent them from.
I don't think so, because I can't think of a single thing Argentina provides for us.
I mean, if look at it from a strategical point of view, what allies do we have in South America?
Not a lot, which is kind of tragic. I would much rather buy oil from Venezuela than Saudi Arabia.
Hold on, hold on. Why Venezuela?
Because they're closer to us, and Saudi Arabia is a horrible place. I don't think we should financially backstop a region an Islamic theocracy with as many human rights abuses as Saudi Arabia does.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But Venezuela is also a terrible place.
It's a terrible place because of economic sanctions that we've levied against them, because they keep doing a communism and we keep making sure to rig the entire world against them. Kind of like Cuba.
But,
you know why Cuba's famous for all those Chevy Bel Air cars from the 50s? Because we basically embargoed them and made it so they have to live decades in the past because we don't like what they're doing. And so we control the lives of people in a foreign country to try to make their lives miserable so we can say, see, look what happens when you do a communism, haha.
okay, yeah, that's fair. But talking about Venezuela, I mean, you also have a very autocratic government that isn't really democratically elected. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, Maduro has been in power since when? 2008?
I don't really know off the top of my head, but yeah, things are not good in Venezuela. But again, a huge amount of that has been because of intervention against them.
Okay. No, yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, right? When you sanction a country to hell and back, you can't really expect them to be a nice place. But
Right.
also you should agree with me on the fact that it's not a democracy and there's not a lot of political
Saudi
freedoms.
Arabia is not a democracy. They have
Of
a
course,
crown
of course.
prince.
I am entirely against Saudi Arabia. Don't get me started on them.
Okay.
Don't
Which
get me
place do you think
started.
is worse, Saudi Arabia or Venezuela?
That's a good. Hold on, give me a second to think. I mean, they're both bad places. I mean, it's like
How many genocides has Venezuela carried out?
none, but
Well, that's
Saudi Arabia, how many?
less than Saudi Arabia.
I don't know how many genocides Saudi Arabia has carried out.
They've been actively carrying one out in, I can't remember if it's Yemen or Oman.
Oh, Yemen.
I
Yeah,
always
okay.
get those two countries mixed up down there. But no, they've been doing that for years, and we've been paying for the weapons for them to do it. We sit there and we go, oh my gosh, they just bombed all those kids. That was so terrible. Oh, here, you want to buy some bombs, Saudi Arabia? Look what they just did with that bomb. Oh my God. Here, you want to buy some bombs, Saudi Arabia? Oh no.
No, I totally see what you mean. And I mean, okay, taking in consideration
Maduro's been
like, okay,
president of Venezuela since 2013, by the way.
2013, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. It's only 12 years, not well, whatever. But okay, if you look at Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, you have limited political freedoms, limited women's rights. You have limited. You have a genocidal country. You have a country with an actual monarchy still in place. And I mean, Venezuela, it has poverty. That's for sure, but that's not their own fault. But then you have a
Correct.
dictatorship also in power. But I would say that
Yeah,
Saudi
he sort
Arabia
of
is
signed
worse.
over a lot of executive powers to himself,
But
which I don't
Saudi Arabia is
support,
worse.
but I mean, it's not it's not on the same level as an absolute monarchy, a theocratic monarchy.
No, well, absolutely. And I think Saudi Arabia is a worse place than, yeah. I mean, I would live better in
It's
Saudi.
it's kind of like Libya. Was Gaddafi a good person? No, he was a horrible person. But going in there and supporting the overthrowing and the killing of him caused Libya to become an absolute catastrophe. And so obviously, even for the people of Libya, it's much worse now than it was before that. And you could say the same thing with like Saddam Hussein even. Yeah, he was kind of a piece of shit, but he had a lot of he wanted to be more of a secular ruler. He was not an Islamist. And so, all the lies that we perpetrated to go in there and overthrow him. And then there was this documentary that came out by these two guys from Colorado produced it. They talked about how he was eaten by a pack of wild boars. I think that's how he died. Anyways, but after that happened, then like that didn't do any good for the world either. So,
I mean, totally. I mean, Saddam Hussein, but you have to recognize Saddam Hussein was also a ruthless dictator. But
yeah,
definitely,
which is pretty unfortunate. But the million dead Iraqis and a $7 trillion war that accomplished nothing is worse.
No, yeah, no. But I agree with you on there. I think there's a misunderstanding. I mean, Iraqis definitely lived better under Saddam Hussein, or even better under the Hashemites, the Kingdom of Iraq. I mean, that was probably peak Iraq, to be honest. But and also regarding Libya was definitely better under Gaddafi than right now. If you look at Libya right now, it's unlivable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then
but
who's the guy that was the who's the president or whatever of Iran that we hated so much, and then we kicked him out, and now they're just going around gunning down Christians in the streets. It's like, yeah, he was a piece of shit person, but at least there were he was preventing at least more internal strife and civil war in the country, and now that that's been taken away, the power vacuum assumes itself, and then you get all this despotic, horrible shit. I think I'm gonna have to move on. This isn't like what I typically do. It's interesting, but I gotta try to talk to a lot of other people today.
Okay, well, see ya. Can I ask you one last question?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think about Bashar al-Assad?
Wait, isn't that the guy I was trying to remember just now?
Syria?
Oh no, wait. Am I screwing that up? It was wait. Which country? There's too many of the. Yeah, I think it's Assad. Yeah, it's Syria, because that's where all these Islamist paramilitary groups are going around throwing people off buildings and shooting them in the street and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you.
That's what I meant. I said Iran. Yeah, why did I say Iran? What the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't know. It's fine. Don't worry. Well, see ya then. Have a good rest of life, I guess.
Thanks. Yeah. I am a product of the American public education system, so don't be too mean to me.